Hello, I'm Tam, the TamBoTC channel. Hopefully my fans aren't too loud. It is freaking hot out. And if you can hear that clicking, that's me adjusting the fan, a matter of fact. I just want to talk about something. So, also, I've been placed here randomly when I was launching game. So I don't know what the hell's going on. I just got on. So even after I did my video on Fallout, I haven't really, while using Destiny footage, I haven't really played this game even after that. Like, I don't know, looter shooters are just not my thing, and it's part of the reason I'm just not into Fallout 76, because that game feels like it's turning more into a looter shooter than it is a Fallout game over time. And then there's, of course, microtransactions. Ironically, the same problems with Destiny 2, and the reason I made a video talking about do I still hate Destiny is because I hated this series. I thought the original had really terrible story, but lore that could have been really interesting if it was in the game. There was some really bad dialogue and presentation and execution of certain things within the story as well. That only got worse with time, well, to some extent, depending on what you're talking about. But this game, after watching Renn's recent video on Destiny, I didn't realize how deep the rabbit hole of just terrible, other than like the microtransactions, that it went. Because like after the split up with Activision, we assumed that things were probably going to get better. That some of that toxicity from what Renn seems to be talking about also seemed to be the fault of the fan base, defending some of the worst things that came out of Destiny, and just supporting it further. Like, I only bought one thing out of Destiny, and that's this Garrus stuff. Even the rest of the Mass Effect stuff was just free. The only reason I got it is, like, every game that has some sort of Mass Effect related thing, whether it has to be bought or it's for free, I make sure to fricking be a part of that, because I am a giant fan of Mass Effect. Unless it's a series that, like, genuinely I don't think I'm going to return to as often to play. For example, Far Cry 6 has Splinter Cell gear, and I make sure to do the same thing there because I'm such a gigantic Splinter Cell fan. But I just don't really care for Splinter Cell as much. Or not Splinter Cell, but Far Cry 6 was just such a freaking generic-ass game. Hold on, what is it? Okay, that's...
The darkness unraveled, and it's projecting something. Overlay possibilities.
Shut up.
We have taken incoming.
But yeah, there's a bunch of different things that go on with that I didn't really care about with Destiny, but I didn't realize how deep the rabbit hole went until I watched the Renn's review video, most recent video, which was probably a couple weeks ago. This stuff for some reason doesn't always send to me. But I think I have the little bell for notifications for him. But luckily I spotted it in my recommendations. I finally got to watch it because I think a bunch of other videos were being recommended over his. And I was like, oh, yeah, the fan base, I did kind of know that the fan base was kind of toxic, that's for sure. I still don't think that gives somebody a reason, especially when they don't understand what they're up against and who they're doing it to, because the people that attacked me probably assumed I was some giant Destiny fanboy, and they wanted to attack me because they hate the fan base as hard as they do, probably because of videos similar to Renn's and the situations that have been going on with how Destiny has progressed over the years, or regressed, as it should be said. But that's still not a good thing. I wouldn't attack fans or even people you don't know the whole scenario behind, because it was so ironic, people insulting me over playing Destiny, when, first off, I just made a video on me not liking Destiny in the first place, and I went a long time without really playing Destiny. I beat Destiny 1, never beat Destiny 2, believe it or not. I've played Destiny 2 for a bit, and then I watched Angry Joe's reviews and such, and just everything I saw after that, I was just like, whatever. So I haven't played Destiny in forever since that video, or cared. I was just not a fan. I did not care for the series. I had friends who cared, but even they kind of dipped after a while, and probably earlier than most people. But I just found it a very generic sci-fi as well. It's got good music and stuff, but they even fired their composer who had shares with them, what Renn also covered. And it's just freaking, like, you shouldn't pick on somebody if you don't know their background, that the irony of your comment is probably going to hit you hard, whether you care or not. It's like, I told that guy when, ironically, not only is that guy not a fan of that series, but he just made a video on not liking it. And why? True, it was a video on do I still hate the series, but that's only because I'm coming back to it blind, not knowing the stuff that Renn was talking about until this one that I'm making. So by the way, this was a good point actually Renn made, where I'm just kind of standing here and able to just shoot the AI because they're so stupid. I'm not really putting much effort into this. Hell, I'm firing with one hand. Yeah, I'll move a little bit if I need to frickin'... Actually, no, I can do that too without... Let's see if I can do this with it. Okay, they did kill me. It's still kinda silly. Oh, I just respawned in the same place? Okay. Yeah, stand perfectly still so I can shoot you. Let me throw a grenade your way. What's that? How did that not take down your shield? Here, I'll come up to you. There. Okay. I could still do a lot of that with just one frickin' hand. Yeah, they kind of become pretty dumb, the NPCs and such. I noticed that even when I was returning to the game, I was like, is there something weird about this gameplay and the enemies? They just seem dumber and easier than I remember. They're just not that fun. I'm just also not a looter-shooter fan. Even Borderlands, which I do like Borderlands, even that series I was like not super into, mostly just because like while I love the humor and such, I'm just not into those repetitive, grindy kind of looter shooter type games. And Destiny was just a more generic, like sci-fi version of that. Sorry, I had the freaking stutter or whatever the frick that was. I have that once in a while. I'm sorry, but yeah, I just, after watching that video, it became more apparent to me, like, why people are mad about it. But that still doesn't give you the right to, like, attack somebody, especially if you don't know, like, the situation or what that person's background with the game is, whether you care or not, once again. It just makes you look hypocritical and ironic at the end of the day, like it did with the situations I had. You know, who gives a crap about your stupid energy weapon? I don't even care about like the loot in this game. All I cared about was the Mass Effect gear. I love Mass Effect. I wanted to get freaking Garrus because I love Garrus. I wish they had Tally. That would be cool. That they didn't do Tally. I know he also brought up that it is weird having like Ghostbusters and other properties. I think Mass Effect at least works a little because it's already a cool sci-fi, so it fits a little better. But when it came to some of the other properties like Witcher and Fortnite especially, it may not match quite as well. They find a way to make them look like cool outfits though for those who are fans of those series, but nonetheless it does feel like kind kind of a sellout game in the same way that like Fortnite and such are. And I do play those games, and I understand also, it's like I hate Epic Games. But sadly, I do buy some of their stuff, like a dumbass. But I only buy what I actually know I'm going to be playing. If I know I'm going to be playing the game enough, and if like the game has something of value to me that I can utilize. And I find there are times where Fortnite, like I find a lot of fun in a lot of their later seasons. And the only skins I'm invested in are ones that are based on products and such I actually like. Otherwise, I don't care. Like, I don't care if it's a YouTuber skin or a Twitch streamer skin, just don't care about that crap, or some celebrity. Even most, like, Marvel and frickin' DC and other skins have gone over my head from time to time. And I just don't care. Like, even Disney stuff, like, you would think I'd get Jack Skellington because I am a fan of Nightmare Before Christmas. But ironically, I didn't. I didn't really care for it.
The light made the imagined structures solid.
I have no idea what's going on here, by the way. What is this plot? What is this part of? Is this part of the shape thing or whatever? Whatever. I don't even know. I don't care. Shut up. But yeah, it's very purple. Did the Joker take over this frickin' place or something? But yeah, but I understand a lot of the hate and anger that's gone towards it. I just think that some people can take it a little over the top or ridiculously. You need to not, you either need to control that anger or you need to find a way to substitute it for something else, because if anything, you're going to not only become the very enemy you sought to destroy, the very evil you sought to destroy, or you're just going to make things worse. That's the only way things are going to play out. There's no other way it can play out from there. So the irony of that, it's kind of the same situation with like what I talked about with hate watching. It's the same kind of like irony and hypocritical crap. It's like if your whole purpose of hating on something is to not support it and to hate it, you hate it because you don't want it supported and such, then why are you technically supporting it? You realize hate watching something, you could be using your time for better things. There's good things you could be watching, or good things you could be supporting. So why are you supporting bad things? You're just going to bring more bad things. What is the point of that, unless that is your ironic purpose, that then you technically lie to yourself and those around you. And then you don't even take advantage of something like that either. Like, you see how, like, I have a YouTube channel, I talk about some of this stuff. Oh, what the frick? Did he grab me? What was that? I'm gonna hide behind this thing until... Oh, they're actually... What the hell? What was that? I am so confused right now. Oh, these... Yeah, he is grabbing me. Frick you! Frick you. Yeah, frick you. Oh, there he is. There. Hey! Frick you. There we go. Yeah, I would want to support something that I actually like and not something bad. It's the same with like pre-orders that I talked about recently with Assassin's Creed as well. The reason I still I utilize that time by making a video and actually talking about why that's trash. Or I would watch somebody else watching, and or you can make a purpose of actually reviewing it, being the reason you watch it. But I still don't think that's good, because you're still supporting it technically. So I think even that might be somewhat a waste of time. So I would say use your time more properly and much better than have. But yeah, it's just something. It's just a stupid. Like, take for example, like I talked about the pre-order things recently too, with like Assassin's Creed Shadows. Like, I feel like you could say a lot of things I said here similarly to that, where it's like it feels like it's a waste of time and you're mostly supporting probably something that's just gonna give us more awful things. And it's also the same thing to why I go after something like Fallout 76 and still, like Legacy Killer and such have said, still call it out for its bullcrap. Because I don't want that to be the future of those games going forward. But sadly, the support that goes towards them sadly kind of promotes that. I'm saying sadly a lot. And that's not the way it should be. It also feels like that okay, you can either die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become a villain. I feel like a lot of Dark Knight quotes honestly could relate to some of the scenarios created with these fan bases. The fan bases have gone hard for Fallout 76 and Destiny, and honestly, I feel like they're just creating more terrible situations for the rest of us in some ways. Not all of them. I'm not saying all fans of a fan base is bad, but the ones that are creating the terrible scenarios that we see before us have sadly become part of the problem. The ones, say, for example, Renn's review pointed out in his video as one example, or the people who actually commented and were rude towards me over either Destiny or the Fallout stuff. People like that, not people who like it just because they're having fun and they're just genuinely trying to find something. I also wanted to make a video recently that was titled Games That Make Me Ask How Big Your Game Library Is. And I don't know if there are people out there that actually believe like Fallout 76 is their favorite game of all time, or Mass Effect Andromeda and such. Like, I can't see those games being the best of all time to somebody. I've heard people say that before, and I just ask myself or to them what I would say, but I don't want to because it would be rude, is how big is your game library? I understand if you have like a family life and a hard-paying job, a hard-working job, like a full-time job or something, and you only have so little time, so you chose what games you wanted to pursue. But that's kind of like going without something good. That's kind of like if somebody only had that free time and they decided to go after Rings of Power when not only did they not probably do enough of their research, but there are clearly better Lord of the Rings related stuff. And of course, like the possession and the attachment to the ring, they're just so cold-heartedly also attached to that product because it's the one thing or couple things that they come to know, and they cherish it, and they almost have a nostalgia that they created towards it. Nostalgia can be both good and bad, and I think that is a scenario where I think nostalgia, while it makes sense in that scenario, especially if you grew up with it, of course, but at the same time in that situation, I think that is a bad thing because that is not a great game. Mass Effect Andromeda and Fallout 76 are not good games. I know they're bringing ghouls for Fallout 76, though that's going to still be a really long time before they actually have that, and it has been a long time for the game to actually get to where it is. And I think you should take, for example, I think something that was really smartly said is also in Radical Soda's video on Sonic Colors Ultimate, that he says in the very beginning, where he says, he talks about how a PS2 game he's never had crash. What you get is what you get on day one. It's not going to be able to receive patches or updates that fix it months later down the line. I'm reviewing what I got on the disc, and it changes the way he has to look at and review things. I think that same thing also applies here too. I think that people shouldn't have to give the excuses to these game companies that they have. There's so many dumbass excuses out there that are just really sad and unfortunate, and just making things worse for everybody else who doesn't want that stuff. And sadly, that stuff eventually can corrupt and probably become the norm, which and I'm sure a lot of people do not want. We do not want stuff like microtransactions, battle passes, season passes, additions, and all that crap that like Ubisoft and such do to become the norm, yet there are people promoting it to become the norm. I know I have sadly bought into some of it. I have bought in season passes from freaking Fortnite and such, but Fortnite's really the only thing I have supported with that. And even that, I'm just like, I'm only getting it for my own personal reasons. Like the recent one, it's like I want the power armor. I love Fallout. Fallout's one of my favorite franchises. So I'm definitely technically a hypocrite in those regards. There's no doubt about it. But I still would fight against that stuff nonetheless. Even when I have my hypocritical moments, it is the stronger part of me. It's not like every video game I'm buying a freaking season pass, all their microtransactions and crap. And sometimes I do it because I want to review it or something, or use it for future videos. I don't know. As long as like I make sure I'm using it, using my time well spent. And if it is something I'm going to use in my time. I don't know how else to explain those parts because it is hard in a position like that to even. You probably can't. But I know one thing. I think that the ridiculousness of certain other scenarios have gone too far, and some people don't know how to approach things themselves too. I've definitely, like the scenario right now, while you could call me a hypocrite, and I've even said it about myself here, not nearly as bad as some of the ways people have approached me on scenarios like the Fallout 76 or the Destiny haters / fans. I don't think I've gotten attacked by a Destiny fan, but I've gotten attacked definitely by people who must be Destiny haters. So you need to be careful with how you approach that stuff. At least the stuff I'm doing isn't indirectly like hurting that person, and not nearly to the extent, because I don't know if that person has gone out of their way on other YouTube channels and such to be just as rude an asshole to other people that they don't agree with. And I think that is spread further than stuff I had to say. I also take a side that's probably a lot better than their side, because where they're using their side to attack and be rude and to just manipulate and harass, I'm taking a side of trying to fight off certain things like that while also being honest. So, but also acknowledging that, yeah, I have my own faults. Nobody's perfect. But some people are just more imperfect than others, and sadly have to show it more than others in such terrible, aggressive, or demeaning ways. And I think that's where it's at its worst. That's the kind of stuff that doesn't deserve your attention either. It never should if it's being used as a platform to harass somebody or to be rude to that person, aggressive in a very disgusting way. Like, I barely have anybody who disagrees with me, but in like a way that's not going to be used in a harassing manner. There's not somebody who's like, look, I think you have some good points, but I disagree with this or that, and then they talk about why, but in a more calm manner and such. Or like if you're swearing casually instead of at the person. Like, for example, I thought this was beeping interesting thing to talk about. You know, you're just casually using a swear in a sentence, that's fine. I know I silly beeped it out, whatever the frick you want to call it. Cringe. But if you're using it directed towards somebody, like name calling or something, like, you're an asshole, you know, that kind of, that shouldn't be given attention at all. And after some of the comments I've gotten, I just decided that if somebody's going to do that kind of stuff, I'm just going to straight up not only block you from the channel, at least I'll give them a chance. Like, I won't block them right away, but, like, at least, like, I will, well, some people, I have blocked one guy right away because he was just literally looking for a fight, and he was non-stop with his freaking rude-ass comments. So that guy, of course, like, immediately got a block. But for good reason. He was trying to defend why he deserved to be rude. That was freaking ridiculous. Over a 30-second video. It doesn't seem like it's worth it entirely when your argument is taking up more time and is meant to be harassing the person. Where am I supposed to be going? What's going on here? Am I supposed to go up here or something? I don't understand. That's why I've been wandering around, by the way. It's not just that, like... Wait a minute. Oh yeah, there's platforming and this isn't there. But, yeah, like, I will probably remove those comments and make sure that also people who are being harassed on the channel don't get harassed either. I want to also defend other people who are being harassed. As long as, like, it's on my channel and I have that kind of control to do that. Or, of course, let me know if you are being harassed or you think you're being harassed. I'll take a look into it. Definitely. Yeah, there's different things to think about. I don't know if I went over everything properly. You can tell me, or maybe there's something you can add to the conversation that I said. Why is this not gone? Oh, hi. Oh, there's apparently another one. Oh, there it is. There we go. But yeah, I think that's about it. After the Renn's video, I still don't hate Destiny as much as I used to, because Destiny was just a really generic, boring game to me originally. And I do hate the microtransactions and stuff, and the fact that they still did that stuff even after separating from such a greedy company like Activision. Yeah, like, I think from that they wouldn't have been off well either way. They still would have been a greedy-ass company. But yeah, I don't know. Stab this stupid ground with a dumbass-looking flag here. I wonder if you can change that. Is there a way to change that crap? Is this it? Clan banners? Oh, I can't change it. Okay. Weird. But yeah, if you have anything to add to the situation, I'd also make sure to be appropriate, of course. Definitely. I also want to say sorry to a good friend I haven't seen in a bit that has talked to me, Ghost of Arcana? I lost his name after a while for some reason. But yeah, I haven't seen or gotten talked to him much. I'm not on Xbox very much, and when I am, it's on the app, and I'm not usually on there much, so I'm sorry for that. I'm usually on PlayStation or PC now, so just to let you know. Part of the reason is just because of my Xbox controller is not very good, and I need a new one, which is something I'm also going for. Oh, great. Respawning. It's freaking. Die. Just die. Is that an invisible dude here? Yeah, that's what I thought. You fricking walnut! I'll take you out, you walnut son of a bitch! Ow! Frick you, let me destroy the walnut! It looks like a nut! Pow! And it's gonna bust a nut, too! Taste my super laser piss! I know those are from two separate videos, but it's just still funny nonetheless. Take that, Obama! You didn't have the cheese I wanted! Like that's in reference to the moon in that. It's just a random ranting about Obama. Random stuff, it's hilarious. Oh, so you're the one doing all this crap. Wait, does that go through walls? Okay, good. Hold on, I'll be right with ya. Ooh, I'm almost dead. Now I have to stay back here. Anyways, that's about everything I have to share on the subject. If you did enjoy, remember to like, share, and subscribe. Yeah, I'll get to you in a sec. And leave your comments below, and I'll see you next time.